Today I'm going to be talking about the hot new thing in vaping that everybody's talking about, and that is temperature control. How do you use it? Why do you use it? Why is it so cool? You want to know these things? Sit back, relax, and if you're not careful, you might just learn something. Hey everyone, it's Eric once again, and today I'm talking about temperature control. This is what everyone's talking about with vaping, and I wanted to give you a little insight into my experience with it. I have an H cigar VI, is it VI or VT 200? Anyway, a friend of mine gave me this, and this is an awesome, like a Ferrari mod. One of the things that I learned about with this is that it handles temperature control. Now, temperature control is the new craze that people are talking about because while vaping is much better than smoking cigarettes, there's still some things you run into that are problematic. For instance, if you have a standard wattage-based mod, you can get dry hits. When you get a dry hit, your coil heats up too much, and that causes problems because it can release a few noxious chemicals that people are talking about in various anti-vaping articles on the web. With this, you set your temperature, and my personal recommendation, you can set it anywhere from around 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm in the US. I'm not really familiar with centigrade, so I'm going to leave that out. But you can set it between about 200 degrees Fahrenheit to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Personally, because if any of you have read science fiction and you've read Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, you know paper will burn at 451. So I have played around and I've realized don't go over about 450. That's my personal recommendation. Because the cotton that you use is wet, it won't burn immediately, but still, better safe than sorry in my opinion. Now, some of the cool things that are additional benefits, aside from health factors, are your batteries will last longer, you don't get the burnt or dry hits, your coils last longer because they aren't overheating, and actually you use less juice when you're using temperature control. So, what are some of the things you need to know? First off, if you build coils or you buy pre-made coils that you just screw in, most of those are made with Kanthal. While there are one or two companies that are saying, yes, we have Kanthal coils that work with temperature control, for the most part, they don't. You need to stick with nichrome, nickel, titanium, or stainless steel at the moment. Now, nichrome and titanium are really sensitive. When I was playing with Kanthal, I would wrap, say, 7 wraps with Kanthal, and I would get about 0.7 ohms. If I wrapped 7 wraps with nichrome, it would get down about 0.2 ohms. And it was a little too sensitive. Stainless steel is my personal recommendation because it acts a lot like Kanthal. It's a lot more forgiving. It's actually the same price per roll as Kanthal. Easier to work with. You can do all sorts of fun things with it. So there are also plenty of companies now who make pre-made coils using the stainless steel. I would try those if you're into pre-made coils. If you're making your own, of course, go with the stainless steel. Now, one of the weirdest things about temperature control is if you're cloud chasing, you're not exactly going to get the same amount of clouds. Now I can't really show you on this if I hold it up, but I will show you, actually let me show you two photos first. I've taken photos of these. The first photo is the mod in normal state, and it shows the wattage because that's what everyone focuses on. So here's a photo in normal wattage mode. Now the coil will heat up and just keep heating up. As you get low in your tank of juice, for instance, this one right here, I'm not sure if you can see it, it's kind of tough, but I'm fairly low on juice. As you get towards the end of your tank, you will start to get the burnt hit, the dry hit. That's where all the noxious chemicals everyone talks about come out from. In temperature control, because your wick gets drier, it turns off faster, so you won't get any dry hits, you won't get any burnt hits, you won't get any noxious chemicals. This is a good thing. So here's the picture of what the mod looks like in temp control mode. As you can see, it's set up where instead of the wattage, you see the temperature. And this is a good thing. With the various liquids that you use, depending on what your flavor is like, and I'll give you a few suggestions, start low first. You can go, as I said before, between 200 degrees Fahrenheit and about 600. I would really start like around 350 if you're not used to doing this. If you have fruitier liquids, sweeter liquids, then go for a lower temperature. Right now I have apple pie in this one, and if I go about 350, I taste more of the apple. If I pump it up to my favorite temperature, about 450, I taste more of the crust and that breadiness and that sort of oveny, vapory sort of, you know, when you're cooking bread, it's like, oh, I like that smell, yes. And so you can vary it. Each juice you have, you might even have to start a notebook on this. With this juice, I like to vape it at this Fahrenheit. At this juice, at this Fahrenheit. Now, if you're one of those people, and I hope most of you are doing this because you're trying to stop smoking, if you're using a tobacco juice, you want to go on the higher side because cigarettes tend to be hotter. So start around 450 on this. Now, let me show you with this one. You can get clouds, but if you're a serious cloud chaser, this isn't the best thing for you. So let me show you. Let's try that one again. I don't know why that happened. Now, I get a full throat hit on this. It actually, even though it's an apple pie flavor, it gives me that feeling that I used to get when I smoked cigarettes, which is very good. So, I know why it is. It's because I haven't vaped very much today. So, you can get the clouds a little bit, not massive clouds, but you get a lot more flavor. You get a definite throat hit with it. One of the downsides of this, though, is if you're someone that, I used to say chain vape, but it's really more hotboxing where you're taking a hit, taking a hit, taking a hit. The coil does not cool down as fast. So you're going to have, let's see if I'm going to try and do this. I'm not sure it's going to work. Now I was looking at the temperature, and I was noticing at first it started at around 250 degrees, And then it, by the third vape, it was starting about 375 degrees. This is kind of a problem if you're going to be like sucking on it constantly. But it's still, it is, again, I'm going to set this down right now. One of the good things, again, I'm going to repeat, is when you're using temperature control, it is much safer. You're not going to burn your wicks. You're not going to get the dry hits. It is definitely going to save you power on your batteries, save you money on your juice, even though there are lots of juice manufacturers that are selling cheap juice now. It is still a good thing to get into. It's very easy. As I said, if you're building your own coils, you can use stainless steel, which works just like Kanthal. Just to give you a contrast, this is a wattage-based mod, and I have no temp control on this one, so I'm going to take a hit. More clouds, but actually, oddly enough, I don't have the throat hit as much, which I'm not sure why that is, but I'm not a super expert on this. I'm just giving my opinions on this. So if you haven't tried temp control before, give it a shot. There are lots of mods out there, and they're coming down in price because this H cigar has a DNA 200 chip, which is sort of what people consider sort of, or at least it was considered the Ferrari of chips. Now, there are a lot of other mods out there that do it really well and are less expensive. Give it a shot. It's much safer. It's going to keep you healthy longer, healthier than smoking cigarettes, of course. And as always, if you haven't been smoking cigarettes, that doesn't mean you should start vaping. If you are smoking cigarettes and you do want to stop, start vaping, because that's the way to go.